else. But I can ask the question and I can get people to the table, but I can't prescribe what they should think and feel about it.
That's a perfect segue for a trick question that I want to throw at Mr. Onley. And before I throw it to the audience to see if you have some questions that you would like to ask. So this is your cue to get ready. One of your, trick question, remember, one of your failures, one of your ambitions as Lieutenant Governor was to bring everyone together and set the table, as Her Honor just said, and try to reduce some of the partisan ferocity that has arisen in the legislature. I remember I interviewed you about that, and you literally set the table. You invited the three party leaders to come and break bread with you. Only one came, as I recall, Premier Wynne, and Mr. Hudak was busy, and Ms. Horvath begged off. So that was a failure to convene, to use your word, and I'm trying to provoke you. But regrets, thoughts about, you ended up still having a lot of MPPs come to supper, but I don't know that it got any better afterwards. So that's something that I'm teasing you a little bit, but it's something I feel passionate about as well. It's why we convened all four party leaders here a year ago in this space before the provincial election. What is to be done?
Well, that's a really good question. That's something people say when they're stalling for time to come up with an answer. Yeah, Martin, you just make the invitation. Yeah, I just think it's incumbent on all of us in our own way to encourage politicians to engage in that kind of debate, stick to policy. I mean, my one regret in terms of being Lieutenant Governor was that I did not include a paragraph that I'd written in my installation address, because everyone knew that within days of me taking office that Premier McGuinty was going to come down the hall and ask for the writ to be drawn up, not dropped. And sorry, but that's a little bête noire of mine. Writs are drawn up, they're not dropped.
He means call an election.
Yes. And so I wanted to say to the members assembled that I wanted him to, if indeed that there was going to be the event that everyone was anticipating that there was going to be, and I wasn't going to use the word election, just anticipating the event, to stick to policy in order to make my former colleagues work hard, much more so in the electronic side of media as opposed to print, where you've just got less than 90 seconds to try to convey a whole day's activities. And so it does deteriorate into he said, she says, back and forth, name calling, and you get very little policy discussion. I mean, to her credit, Kim Campbell was correct when she said elections are a bad time to discuss policy. Well, could have phrased it more precisely, but as an accurate description, it was bang on, because politicians won't talk about or don't talk about policy during campaigns. This is stuff that I can say because I'm no longer in office, and if our positions were reversed, I couldn't say any of this. So,
ever since you left, it got worse.
I was just to get you off track for a moment. I was going to say that one of the, and perhaps it'll seem self-serving, but one of the things that the office of the Lieutenant Governor, not the incumbent, but the office itself can do, is to model dignity and civility in everything that you do. And it can also remind people that there are pillars of democracy that are important: the media, the judiciary, civil society. And I think it is just vitally important to use whatever opportunities you have. Sometimes it's just showing up somewhere. It's the thing that still amazes me is that your presence at something matters.
Yes.
You're recognizing people. You're showing their importance in how society functions. And democracy is so much more than government. It's the kind of thing that you learn at the kitchen table as you're talking about world events. Kind of thing. It's why I particularly focused on municipal government.